Let's get down to laughing. I had an amputation 4 weeks ago, and mostly I hear sympathy and poor you and oh my God. But I'm celebrating Stumpy. Because 6 months ago, I started to have what's called a MRSA, which is a very severe bacterial infection of my left foot. And so the miracle is an amputation. So free at last, free at last. You know, it's a lot cheaper to go to a shark than a surgeon. Oh, the shark bites with his teeth here, and it keeps it out of sight. Okay, that's enough. If you can't laugh at that, go home. I decided at 18 to only be happy. That even if I was arguing, I was coming from a place of joy. I had 3 hospitalizations at 17s in mental hospitals. I hated mental hospitals and what they did to people and the medicines. When I came to Virginia and I saw the hatred and those sorts of things, I thought that I wanted to be an instrument for peace and justice and care for all people and nature, and that the first step to doing that was to be a nut, or to be a nut in an accepted society is to be a clown. So officially, I'm a clown who is a doctor, not a doctor who is a clown. Not live in the hierarchy that a lot of medical students and doctors live in. I'm the doctor. Just making faces. I was kind of a nerd and I liked humor. I was a sissy boy, coward, and so I was beaten up and ostracized often, and I found that humor was a great antidote. Children who are bullied or who are strange often find that laughter is their protective mechanism. And a lot of times you'll find the funniest people in a classroom are some of the more strange people. They also are using humor to protect themselves, but they may not have the language of safety. I mean, it's interesting, the phrase made fun of is a derogatory phase, where in the world of humor, fun is the action we want. Am I confusing you enough? Everybody knows that laughter is one of the most honest human expressions. It is a response to something fun in your environment. It's a gigantic, let's say, a relief from the tedium of everyday life. As soon as you like humor, you start paying attention. You can see quickly, as I did, that if I had a smiling face and sparkling eyes, that I was welcome just about everywhere. On a superficial level, laughter is your showing appreciation and delight in something. I think it's a lot deeper than that. That if you see a person depressed and suicidal, humor is one of the first things that goes in that person. So it's actually diagnostic. If a person is not funny, if I do things and they're not laughing, I know I need to look closer. Farting is the number one funny thing. If your 5 to 10-year-olds were in the room and I said the word fart and then did they would love me. That's fartology right there. What's adorable about farting is that if a kid in the class just lets a really noisy one leak out, they're going to be really appreciated. especially if no one knows, or at least the teacher doesn't know who did it. It's that surreptitious gas that we're talking about. You know, they have a song, beans, beans, the musical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. The more you toot, the better you feel. So eat some beans at every meal. A teacher with a sense of humor could serve a huge bowl of beans as the only thing you get when you come to school that morning, in hopes that gas will come. I've got one, teacher. Children love funny. There are few things they like more than funny. Costumes or props are a really good entree. You could even have a bag of things if you're a school teacher, saying, okay, things that are funny. And you can have a hat that's funny in the bag. You could have a tutu in the bag that's funny, a whoopee cushion. I'm a doctor who always carried a lot of toys in his pockets. And yes, whoopee cushions were there. Snot, when I clown, is one of my favorites. Tidy whities on the head for a helmet is guaranteed to get laughs. Spilling things makes people laugh. Cleaning them up doesn't. It's really important to laugh. So keeping a humor diary might be fun for children, for what they notice people laugh at, what they laugh at, and what they notice that other people laugh at. Most likely, they will not mention farts, even though they know they love them and that they laugh at them more than anything else. The teacher can use that as a point they're trying to make, that there are taboos. They could give a fart class with a whoopee cushion, and they could say, I'm a friend of Patch's and I understand that farting is the number one funny thing to children, so I have this whoopee cushion. Who needs a fart in the face? When I entered medical school in 1967, I saw nothing right. It was almost all men. They never heard one mention in any school, K through 12 or college or medical school, about love. Never heard it mentioned, that a doctor should be loving and kind and playful and all of those things. No, a doctor should know the 10 most diseases. That's what the doctor should know, what's the right psychiatric medicine to give. Just the way they dressed and everything they did in medical school, I saw I could never do it. And so I decided to never charge. So I've been a doctor 50 years and have been a free doctor all that time, which meant free is not just money. Free meant my first interview with a patient was 3 or 4 hours long. And even if they didn't like it, I can do it my way because I'm the doctor and it's free. I've had a great life in Gesundheit. We've never had the place, but our first 12 years, 20 adults, 3 of us doctors moved into a 6-bedroom house and said we were a hospital. We had 500 to 1,000 people in our home each month with 5 to 50 overnight guests a night. For 12 years. This was a hell of an education and a huge and wonderful, intense human experiment. We learned to garden. I was a goat herder for I think 12 years. All these things that we put on plays, we made movies, and we did silly things. We filled rooms with balloons. One time on a Russia trip, I filled a big tub full of cooked noodles for a 77-year-old Swiss nurse who always wanted to get in a tub of noodles. Gesundheit has been about an experiment with human culture. So 120 adults will live at the hospital in West Virginia, and everyone will make the same salary. The cleaning staff, who are usually the least paid, and the surgeons, who are usually the most paid, will all make $400 a month. And I wanted the salary to be so low it scared people, because money is the measuring stick and power over others is the second measuring stick of our global culture, not the intelligence of thought, certainly. I feel honored that they are doing that. The Nobel Prizes are the most famous prizes of the human culture. I probably have books of all the Nobel Prize winners of literature, and I'm a big fan. The Peace Prize, I've known some of the groups who've gotten the Peace Prize, and I think our clown trips, our clown work, our free medicine are all part of the Peace Prize, I hope, and it's certainly what I talk about in my talks. I want a world where no one alive knows what the word war means. They have to look it up in a dictionary, and then they say, no one would ever do that. That's my fantasy. I feel honored to get the nomination. I don't know yet that it's done much for us, but I do see people know it, and I think some donations have come because of it. I can't say that COVID has helped the donations for Gesundheit. For a lot of the time when I was on the road, I was making $1 million a year, and I was able to donate not only to our hospital project, but to a lot of our projects and get a lot of things done. And I've really not made much of any money for 14 months. I have a salary of Gesundheit. I was supporting a lot of things, and it's so funny. The movie promised to build our hospital and gave me nothing and made several $1 billion. I think about 90% of the donated money promised me never happened. And so I'm in the 50th year of trying to build a free hospital in a country where the number one reason you lose your home is your medical bill. I need funding. A $1 donation is wonderful. A $5 donation is wonderful. People can go online and donate, and they can send a donation in the mail, in which case they would get a thank you note from me. And they can donate that way. They can donate by sending a letter. A lot of ways to engage and support our cause is for themselves to be peaceful. I mean, the strongest influence I'd like to have on another person's life is that they go from violence to peaceful. And so that doesn't involve any money. It involves a choice to be at peace with yourself and to sometimes step in if two people are arguing and doing something funny and maybe stopping the argument.
This is me looking, whoever is looking at me on their computer. Please hear me. One option in life is to be exactly the human being you decide to be. I decided to be happy all the time. I decided to be loving. I decided to be funny, cooperative, creative, and thoughtful. At the age of 18, and I'm now 75, it's given me a great life. Because I get letters where people say, I wish I could be happy. And I write back, all you have to do is decide. You can decide that you'll be happy if you wake up, be happy if I chirp with the birds, and you just say that I will be loving. We are living in a fascinating age. I'm going to say a harsh thing. You are just one of the birds, one of the bugs, one of the plants. You're no more than that, and they are no more than you. You're a human. You're one animal. Make the best of yourself. If you start trying experiments of love and fun in your environment and you're having some difficulty, write me a letter. There are solutions to everything nasty, nested in love and fun and joy. There it is. So, whoopee, and thank you.